What's up, friends? I'm Jonathan Miller, and welcome back to Jonathan Miller Music, where we help each other become better artists. 2NE1 is a legendary group in K-pop from YG Entertainment, having sold over 66 million digital and physical records across the globe, sparking numerous fashion trends, including an entire concept for girl groups within K-pop known as Girl Crush, breaking boundaries for Asian musicians in various markets, and spawning a long string of hits. 2NE1's status as one of the top girl groups in the world is sealed into the history books. If you're a fan of my deep dives, today I want to do something a little bit different, and that's specifically to dive into one of 2NE1's most iconic songs, I Am the Best. So today, we're going to take a look at I Am the Best as a record, its lyrics and production, the history surrounding the track, and determine why it deserves its iconic status as a hit. Then later on in a future video, we'll dive into 2NE1 and find out what made them as a group just as iconic. So if you're a newer K-pop fan who may not get the hype, or perhaps you're just a bit curious about the song, or maybe you're still a blackjack at heart and want a nice little trip down memory lane, then stick around for this brand new series. Leave a like so I know you enjoyed it or you want more of this, subscribe so you don't miss my future uploads, and leave me a comment letting me know if you learned something new, or a fun memory that you have with 2NE1, or leave me a suggestion as to which past hit we should dive into in the future. The top comment might just win. And with that out of the way, here is why 2NE1's I Am the Best is a legendary K-pop hit. The world in the early 2010s would appear nearly unrecognizable to the world in the 2020s. There was no pandemic, no TikTok, no Vine. Most of Gen Z was in their childhood era, and millennials were just about completely legal adults in their late teens and 20s. In the world of music, popular sound design was beginning to evolve in terms of genres that the target demographic was gravitating toward. In the mid-2000s, electropop, or as you've probably heard it referred to as club music, was the most popular genre trend. Electronic productions fused with danceable hip-hop beats had taken the world by storm. Pop titans at the time, such as Lady Gaga, Britney Spears, Beyonce, Kesha, Mariah Carey, Black Eyed Peas, and more, ruled the latter half of the decade. But the decade was also changing as dance pop was phasing in like a basketball player subbing in for another during a game, with Katy Perry's Teenage Dream album leading the charge, creating a quintessential childhood record for Gen Z and a new wave of radio-friendly, lighthearted escapism for millennials. But sound design was changing even quicker in the early 2010s as well, as a new wave of festival-style music began to grasp the interest of young people. Electronic dance music, or EDM for short, offered a much-needed combination of the club-style electropop rhythms and commercial sensibility of dance pop to create a tsunami of pop escapism engulfing nearly anyone who heard it.
Catch me if you can.
Unless, you know, you weren't a cheap, soulless, auto-tuned, pop trash-hating hipster with frameless glasses and a plaid shirt with an Instagram collection of photos showing your indie records that are much cooler than mine. EDM is a large umbrella genre of music that very often gets mistaken for a very niche genre of music, but it's actually a very large one, just like pop, hip-hop, R&B, classical, and so on. There are tons of subgenres and microgenres that exist under all of those labels, and in the case of EDM, both dance pop and electropop are technically subgenres under the EDM umbrella. So I guess if we're gonna be more accurate in attempting to define the EDM wave of the mid-2010s, we actually should be referring specifically more to dubstep, house, electronic hip-hop, disco, industrial, techno, funk, synth pop, electropop, and dance pop, in combination with a lot of other genres depending on which song we're talking about. But that would be exhausting and we're tired. So I guess for the purposes of this video, we'll just continue to say EDM like everybody else, unless we really have to specify it. Now, knowing genres is cool, but there's a larger question we need to be asking as it pertains to this video. Why were those genres popular? More specifically, why do a large portion of millennials love commercialized dance music? And why does a good portion of Gen Z low-key kinda hate it? I mean, what is this? It sounds like a bad YouTube rewind intro, am I right, school emoji? That was cringy, I know. But the truth is, all of these genres have existed long before our generations made them popular. And while millennials and Gen Z certainly have our differences, we do share one intrinsic link, and that is both Gen Z and millennials grew up during massive technological booms. I mean, even as the world deals with AI now, we might as well throw Gen Alpha in there as well. The post-millennium technology revolution is intrinsic to our identities as distinct generations. Millennials watched as touchscreens first became a reality and the internet grew in widespread accessibility. Gen Z has grown up seeing the effects of how social media can affect the reality around them offline. And both generations have also gone through massive political changes as well. Without diving into boring historical politics across the globe, all you really need to know for this video is that pop music and politics are historically and indisputably linked. Music is always the soundtrack for change, whether that's in the 1950s and 60s with the rebellious sounds of rock and roll, or the flower power protest anthems of 1970s disco. 80s synth pop gave Gen X that Spitfire personality they've still got, and the trend has continued through the 90s bubblegum phase, 2000s electropop, 2010s dance pop, EDM and dream pop soundscapes, and 2020s R&B domination. People can try really hard to separate pop music from politics, but the two will always be linked historically, because pop music provides escapism and carries important messages reflective of the times and generations that those songs belong to. Not every song, of course. This is a generalization for the purposes of this discussion, but regardless of subject matter, pop music is always sonically reflective of the times and is made to provide that accessible escapism for the world, no matter what country you're from. And 21's electropop hit, I Am the Best, is no exception to that historical fact. But first, a word from this video sponsor, DistroKid. DistroKid is one of the top music distributors on the market and longtime supporter of this channel, helping independent artists like you and me get our music up on streaming platforms like Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, and more. For one small yearly price, you'll be able to distribute as much music as you can possibly create without hurting the bank. Depending on which of DistroKid's 3 membership tiers you decide is the best fit for you, you'll also gain access to a wide library of additional features tailored perfectly to help you grow, promote, and manage your music career. One such very helpful tool is the YouTube Allow list. When you choose to opt into DistroKid's YouTube Content ID, they'll routinely scan YouTube to detect every video using your song, claim that video, and send the ad revenue to you. However, sometimes you may have given a specific creator permission to use your song in a specific video, in which case, after that video gets claimed, you can put it on your Allow list so that creator earns their revenue, the claim gets lifted, and you get the promo, or whatever your prior agreement was. So use my special VIP link to save yourself 7% on your first year's membership with DistroKid. Link is in the description. Originally released on June 24th, 2011, 21's I Am the Best became the 4th best-selling single in South Korea that same year with over 3.4 million downloads. The song is actually the 3rd single taken from 21's self-titled EP and was written and produced by longtime YG Entertainment hitmaker Teddy Park. Teddy Park is a Korean-American born in Seoul, South Korea, who grew up in the USA until he was signed by YG at 17 years old and moved back to Korea after graduating high school. Every record producer has a style. And if you've seen my deep dive on Lisa of Blackpink, you'll know that YG Entertainment's specialty is hip-hop. Teddy Park has his own style as well, frequently combining rap, hip-hop, pop, R&B, and world genres together to create infectious confections perfectly designed for people who enjoy pop treats with a little bit of edge. While YG Entertainment listeners of today are probably very familiar with the name Teddy Park, and maybe a little bit exhausted from it, back in 2011, his recipe for a hit was exhilarating and quickly gaining traction. Enter I Am the Best. I Am the Best is a K-pop song combining elements of rap, hip-hop, electropop, dance pop, electro house, and minor Middle Eastern elements to create a commercial, radio-friendly anthem. Its production is built around synthesizers and a solid kick drum, highlighting each beat to make the track feel electronic and dancey. See how electropop sits under EDM now? You get it. As the track fades into its verse sections, you can hear special effects tracks called downlifters, which pop producers use to help transition from high energy sections into lower energy sections of a song, even when the beat really isn't changing. It's an auditory trick for the listener to remind them to not only pay attention to the song, but also to help distinguish the section from the chorus or post-chorus. The song is just under 3 minutes and 30 seconds in runtime, which was about the average length of a pop song for the time period. Compare that to today, where the average length of a pop song is about 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I Am the Best may seem a bit long to younger audiences, in spite of frequent public outcry for longer songs. So how does this song keep its listeners engaged? Well, to put it simply, through little tricks and minor switch-ups in production, like the users of risers and downlifters, as well as the hooks in its lyrics, vocals, and melody. Merely 6 seconds into I Am the Best, the song's title is chanted, becoming one of the bass vocal hooks for the remainder of the track. If you say "내가 제일 잘나가," which, ignoring my pronunciation, does mean I am the best in Korean, to literally any older K-pop fan, and they will instantly recognize the song and be able to recite the main hook of the song as well. Right away, both 2NE1's attitude and Teddy Park's production are setting this song up to be as catchy as possible. A more contemporary track that does this very similarly is Tate McRae's Greedy. The first 3 seconds of this song utilize a tremolo echoing bell synthesizer to highlight very similar notes that Tate will be humming later on throughout the song in key places, which drills into the listener that this hook is important. While this song differs by opting to jump into the verse instead of the vocal hook like I Am the Best, both songs establish in their first 10 seconds effectively that the electropop club-style music is going to be paired with vocal hooks you'll walk away humming for days. Back over in I Am the Best, the title is repeated 4 times in succession before stuttering "제제제 자나가" when the production drops to keep the listener's attention before jumping into another important hook, the nonsensical onomatopoeia beat boom ratatata ratatata beat. Vocal chops in pop music production can be a very small but effective way to breathe life into your song, and that technique is not just a millennial thing. Tate McRae does it as well right around the 14-second mark of Greedy. Again, this is a very small but useful technique in songwriting if you want to add just another layer of catchiness to your song or create a special moment. Also, noise drops in pop songs work very well to highlight new sections of music. Funny enough, both I Am the Best and Greedy feature these production drop transitions at nearly the same timestamp of 37 seconds.
Oh my god.
The difference being 2NE1's heading into the first verse since they led with the chorus, and Tate McRae is diving into her second since she led with her first verse. From here, both songs continue a combination of these hooks while adding small doses of new ones to keep things fresh from start to finish. But this is a K-pop song, so we should probably compare and contrast it to other K-pop songs, right? Tate McRae's Greedy shows us that these pop techniques are alive and well. I mean, both songs even share similar lyric themes of self-empowerment, confidence, and, well, being the hottest thing in the room, which kind of reminds me of a recent K-pop song that you're probably expecting me to mention, and that would be Super Lady by Idol. Not only did Idol recently visually pay tribute to I Am the Best, the song's thematic elements are similar as well. Both music videos use a black, white, and silver color palette, and lyrically, the songs express that confidence and attitude. Minnie, in her opening line, repeats boy, 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 and love, love, love to create a hook for the listener to hold on to. We've got drops before the chorus, hip-hop, rap, and electropop fusions combined in different ways to deliver the same type of inspired end goal for its listener: empowerment. Whereas I Am the Best hones its lyrics to focus in on self-empowerment, Super Lady takes a broader, all-female identifying empowerment approach to widen the lens. All three tracks, Super Lady, Greedy, and I Am the Best, are all electropop anthems done in different ways to appeal to the different time periods that they belong to, even if that time period is just a few months apart. But there's a time period we're missing here, which is the last song I must compare I Am the Best to, and that's the just as infectious Boombayah by Blackpink. Now, you can argue that we should probably compare and contrast it to Blackpink's Doo 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 Doo, which would work just as well, but seeing as how Blackpink and 21 are from the same company, and 2016 is the only year that Blackpink and 21 share as active groups with full members, even if it's only just a few months for each group, 21 in the first quarter and Blackpink in the second half of the year, 21 is one of the defining groups of Gen 2 K-pop, and Blackpink is indisputably one of the defining groups of Gen 3 K-pop, so let's stick with Boombayah for the purposes of this video. Both Boombayah and I Am the Best share a lot of similarities, starting with being produced and written by Teddy Park. Both songs fuse house, electropop, hip-hop, rap, and Middle Eastern aspects into their productions, which has drawn praise and criticism over the years. Both tracks feature anthemic lyrics about being once again the best. The kick drum drives the anthemic, self-empowering sentiment, and hooky synthesizers create and highlight each song's respective energy. There are, of course, differences between the two as well. I Am the Best is constructed in a chorus, verse 1, pre-chorus structure, whereas Boombayah is formatted in a very typical EDM style of songwriting, in a verse, pre-chorus, drop, hook structure. Our 21 song was released in the middle of the electropop, dance pop, EDM development, and our Blackpink track was dropped as the EDM wave was reaching its peak, but the format continued to see success in third generation K-pop songs. Boombayah is over 30 seconds longer than I Am the Best and is just as catchy from start to finish. But Blackpink, as we all know, went on to make a string of iconic hits, so much so that when performing music now, Boombayah is not really their go-to song, whereas I Am the Best nearly always will be for 21. Why? 21 has other recognizable hits in K-pop, so why was I Am the Best their go-to song for their surprise performances at the 2015 Mamas and 2022 Coachella? It's because it's iconic, and they love to do iconic shit. Earlier in this video, I asked the question, why do millennials love dance music and why does Gen Z not particularly enjoy it? And like the title of this video asks, why is I Am the Best a legendary K-pop hit? And in order to answer all of that, we need to establish what a legendary hit actually is, because the answer is going to be different depending on who you ask. For example, if you ask Wikipedia, a hit song is a single that has appeared in an official music chart through repeated radio airplay, audience impressions, or significant streaming data and commercial sales. Okay, well, I Am the Best sold 3.4 million downloads. It's currently 21's most streamed song on Spotify with over 140 million streams, and was a #1 hit in South Korea, so that checks out. However, 21 songs Lonely and Don't Cry performed much stronger by year end in 2011. So why is it when I ask Google, what is 21's signature song, it replies with I Am the Best? If we ask Reddit to define what a hit song is, the general consensus is that a hit song is a track that the masses, including your grandma, knows. Oh, everybody knows that song. And generally speaking, most K-pop fans have come across I Am the Best at some point in their K-pop journey, and that's because I Am the Best has evolved into something more than just a popular song in 2011. Did you know, following its selection by Microsoft to promote their Surface Pro 3 in 2014, I Am the Best was re-released to US radio by Capitol Records, making it one of the first modern Korean language songs to be played on the format. It wasn't just the US though, as it also ended up charting in France on the SNEP singles chart as well. So if you lived in Boston or New York around that time, you're not having a Mandela effect moment. I Am the Best was played on American radio long before BTS, long before Blackpink, and right after Psy's Gangnam Style. Which, by the way, just to clarify, this is not shade to any of those people. We love them and appreciate them for all the things that they have done. Furthermore, 21 became the first K-pop girl group to top the World Digital Song Sales chart with I Am the Best, which, as of 2020, still tied with Mic Drop by BTS as the 5th longest charting song on there. I Am the Best's visuals helped pioneer the girl crush concept in K-pop we've seen in years that followed, with bold fashion choices, confident messages, and tougher aesthetics. Whereas before, girl group concepts that did well were a little bit more feminine or cutesy. Again, we're not knocking anything, just clarifying. The song was one of the top 10 trending videos on YouTube following its release, and was one of the very few K-pop videos that could achieve 100 million views at the time, given K-pop's much smaller global audience back then. When member CL put together her own performance for the 2018 Winter Olympics closing ceremony, she specifically highlighted I Am the Best, which the Olympics' own YouTube channel deemed the 8th best live Olympic performance of all time. I Am the Best has been featured in a variety of TV shows and films like So You Think You Can Dance, South Park, and the Netflix original film Work It. Even as recently as 2023, Rolling Stone still considered it as the 8th greatest K-pop song of all time. Don't even get me started on the sheer number of dance covers we've seen over the years. Clearly, a legendary hit in music is not just one that defines the ages, it transcends them too. Pop music and politics are historically linked. Millennials gravitate toward dance music not only because it's the soundtrack to their adolescence and 20s, but because dance music provided escapism from political events like elections, wars, and the recession. The youngest of Gen Z tends to stray away from dance music because of their elections, wars, and social injustices that they've been through as well. It's not about underexposure or overexposure. People gravitate to different types of music based on how it makes them feel, and that will always be true regardless of which generation is the target demographic for artists. The truth is, Gen Z doesn't actually hate dance music as we previously established, looking at more modern hits like Super Lady, Greedy, and Boombayah. If they did, those songs would not be as popular as they are. All 4 songs we discussed today share similar genre influences and production techniques to provide that escapism, while also echoing the attitudes of their respective time periods, even if the time period is simply a few months apart or several years apart. Greedy doesn't feature one single lyric it highlights over and over and over again like our K-pop examples do, but it's not without its repetition. Boombayah might be based on an EDM songwriting structure and favor melody over rap, but it still contains the essential juices that we found in the other 3. Super Lady aims to lift up all female identifying people as opposed to the individual, but it shares the same attitude Blackpink, Tate McRae, and 21 carry as well. I Am the Best might show its age playing in a Spotify playlist of 2020's K-pop hits, but it still was a pioneer in the globalization of the industry. It might sound a little dated by today's standards, but it's always going to stand out, and that is why it's legendary. That's why, should 21 ever reunite again, you can bet that I Am the Best will see another resurgence in sales, streams, and overall interest. I Am the Best not only functions well as a pop hit, but also as a cultural moment that people still talk about to this day. You specifically may not know this song, but if you've gotten here, you certainly do now, just like the millions of others across the globe in several different generations. That is what makes a legendary hit song, and that's why 21's I Am the Best truly is, pun absolutely intended, the best.